कहाँ है यार? Okay, should we start?
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second. Okay, so please open up the newspaper. Which news do you find as important from the first page? Yeah? Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Is it important? IR. IR, it is important. For what? India-China relations? But is it a big problem, means Kailash Mansarovar Yatra? Okay. So yes, this is important news. Where they have put the pen. Okay. Okay, let it open. Now Kailash Mansarovar, you should this topic becomes relatively important for prelims. Okay, you should know the mapping part. Where is this Kailash Mansarovar lake? Where is this Kailash mountain? Okay, is it in India or Tibet, or where is it exactly? Huh? At least whether it is in India or some other country you should know. Huh? It is in India. Where? Which state? Telangana or Andhra Pradesh? Arunachal Pradesh.
Maybe because China border is there.
Huh?
Because China border is there.
Change of water is there. Huh? Border is there.
Between China.
Because of China. So China has taken it. Okay, it is not in India. Okay, look at this. This is the map. So this is your India. Here you see the Nepal. Here you see Bhutan. This is our Sikkim. Okay. Now look at this Mount Kailash which is present over here. This is the Kailash Mansarovar. Now India, it is. Do you think it is in India? So this is the boundary. Okay, so it is not in India specifically, rather it is part of China, or rather we can call it part of Tibet. Okay, Tibet is an autonomous region. So in Tibet we find this location, but it is very close to border of India as well as border of Nepal. Okay, so this is Mount Kailash, and just like this is the mountain, let's say, so here you have one lake, that is Kailash Mansarovar lake. So here you can see this is the location. Clear? Now if it would have been in India, why would we talk about China? That's the common sense which can be used. If something is part of India, why would we talk about international relations in that? Because it is part of Tibet, that's the reason we have to get in touch with Chinese government. Right? Now the basic part of your geography which you should know. First of all, its height. Around 6,000 kilometers, sorry, 6,000 meters, not kilometers, that would be very high. So, is it higher than Mount Everest or no? Lower than Mount Everest. So, just basic comparison, you should have an idea about it. Now, when it comes to Mount Everest, people have gone to the peak, that zenith part of Mount Everest, the top part. When it comes to this Mount Kailash, people have never gone to that highest peak or that zenith level. Reason being, this place has become so sacred that people do not get entry to that top level. Okay, this Mount Kailash is considered to be very sacred, and that is for different religions. One is Hinduism, obviously, that it is considered to be the abode or the place where Lord Shiva and Parvati stay. In Buddhism, this is called as Mount Meru. So they say that this is the axis from which earth and heaven is directly connected. Okay. In Jainism also it is important, called as Ashtapad. So this is the place where Rishabhnath had got enlightenment. So that's why in Jainism also this place becomes important. And in Tibet there is a religion called as bond religion. For them also this Mount Kailasa becomes important or very much sacred place. Okay, this is the basic part which you should understand. Now from geography perspective, these rivers are very important. This is a factual part which you will have to remember anyway. They keep on asking questions on rivers and the mapping of rivers in the preliminary exam. So at least those major rivers which are in India, for example, you have Indus River, Ganga River, Godavari River, at least such major rivers you should be aware of their path, their origin, destination, everything. Right? Now as far as this Mount Kailash is concerned, from this Mount Kailash many important rivers originate. One of them is Satluj River, Brahmaputra, which is named as Sangpo in Tibetan region. When it enters in India, later on we give it a name called Brahmaputra. Then Indus River starts from Tibet, moves from Jammu Kashmir area to Pakistan and then into Arabian Sea, right? And there is this Karnali River. So these are the rivers which are directly originating from this particular mountain. Okay? Now getting to this Mansarovar Yatra. Now this is organized by Ministry of External Affairs. Every year in the month of June, from June to September, we see this Yatra. Okay? This ministry will take care of it because there is role of international relations. That's why External Affairs Ministry is coming into picture. Otherwise, some other ministry would have taken this task. Now, for this, we have two different routes. Rather, we have actually three routes, but one route is from Nepal. So we'll look at the routes from India. So earlier we had one route, this Lipu Lake Pass. Here you can see, which is there in Uttarakhand connecting with this Tibetan region. Okay, Lipu Lake Pass. This is operational since the year 1981, means from this year it is active. We are using this route for the people to go to this Mount Kailash. Okay, and there is other route which is started in the year 2015. That is from this region of Sikkim over here, Nathula Pass. Okay, so you should know these names, Nathula Pass from Sikkim and this Lipu Lake Pass here in the Uttarakhand region. Okay, these two routes we are using. Third route is from Nepal. That's the alternate route. But obviously most of the population is going from India, not Nepal. Right? Now, right now they are just saying this Chinese ambassador, they are saying we are starting this Mansarovar Yatra, so this will help in making our relations cordial. Our relations will become better and all. The point is our relations have deteriorated in last 3-4 years. Okay, lastly in 2020 after COVID-19 we saw many incidents taking place. There was a standoff between the army of India and China, right? So there were many problems. From that time onwards we see the relations have deteriorated very badly, because if you see the track, historical track, in 1962 we had this war. After that we were not having much conflicts as such. There were some smaller conflicts, but in last few years there was nothing as such. If you leave this last 5-year timeline, if you go back, then you don't see much conflict between China and India as such. At least in the border region, we were having some peace. That peace was broken in 2020, right? Galwan clash we saw. So because of that incident, that trust has gone. As far as India and China relations are concerned, India says that there is a trust deficit when it comes to China. Even if there are any kind of border agreements, there is no guarantee China will adhere to those boundary agreement as such. Okay, it has relation with the present day geopolitics also, changing geopolitics, changing relations between USA and China, India's relations increasingly tilting towards America. All these things are connected. Okay, so this topic, mapping part. Okay, mapping these rivers you should be very much aware of. Clear? Now, anything important on this page apart from this news? Nothing important. Yes, so editorial page. This editorial, they are specifically talking about aviation safety. Now why this is in news?
Because recently one accident.
Because of that recent incident of plane crash from Ahmedabad to where it was going? London. Yes, that plane crash incident took place, because of which it is in news. Now there are some reports though, so what is happening is they're trying to find out right now it was whose mistake because of which that incident took place. Okay, still we don't have any conclusive evidence as such, but obviously people will start blaming the pilot and all. Rest? Ministry of Aviation, okay, people will blame Ministry of Aviation. Now this article particularly, they are obviously criticizing the government for whatever government is doing. So they are saying there is lack of genuine culture of safety in India, specifically with aviation sector. Now what they have highlighted, first of all, whenever any such incident takes place, you have to go for some inquiry why it has happened and all. You have to come up with a report, and that report should be very much transparent, and there should not be any delays in the reports. There should not be anything wrongly mentioned in the reports. That's when you can actually rely on that report. As far as Indian reports are concerned, it is said that we can't trust these reports because of the delays, because of the corrections that are there in those reports. Now many times this happens. As far as here this case is concerned, so this happened with this aircraft, or what we call this airplane, from the company Boeing. It's an American company, and Boeing is in news for these incidents since a long time. Now the point is, if we can understand in reality how things go on, we might not know what has really happened. Company may put its efforts in order to not let anyone know. Is there any problem with the design of this aircraft? Maybe there is a problem. There is a possibility. Or it was mistake of the pilot. If it was mistake of the pilot, is it because of his personal mistake, or there is immense pressure on the pilot and his complaints, nobody is taking care of those complaints? So is it the error of regulatory authorities that are present in India? Is it their mistake? Is it the management fault? Is it the fault of the producer of this aircraft, or is it the fault of the pilot who is driving it? That's what we are trying to understand. And please understand this from the perspective of two things. One is the lives of the people. People will die. That's one dimension. Other dimension is economical. Just understand, if people find out and they don't have any trust on these aircrafts, if they come to know that no, all these aircrafts, their design is faulty, suddenly anything might happen. Just imagine the entire economy, the segment of aviation will be affected very badly because of that. Okay, even for Boeing, just imagine if the report clearly says that there is problem with the Boeing aircraft. Already India has so many aircrafts for different companies who are running this aircraft industry. Most of them, means many of them, like Indigo and all, they also use this Boeing aircraft. Around the world, so many companies are using Boeing aircraft. Just imagine the damage there will be on Boeing if the report claims that. And the point is, in case of India's reports, the article is, or the writer is saying, our reports are not so trustworthy. Okay, so that's one problem he is highlighting. Now, as far as the regulation part is concerned, see, we have this Ministry of Civil Aviation. Okay, under this we have Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Now, this is the main body. Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGCA. They have to take care of all these things. Okay, now the point is, it is being said that anything about the safety, if they have to establish some rules, if they have to implement some safety related rules, that is the job of DGCA to ensure all that. And the writer is simply saying they are not doing their task properly. There is very weak enforcement of the norms, safety norms specifically. So whatever needs to be checked every day regarding the aircraft, or when they are buying any aircraft, what has to be done, everything is part of this safety mechanism. Yes, so that is not being done properly. Same is being said about Airport Authority of India. Now, Airport Authority, they take care of the airports or the nearby area of airports. So what kind of construction will take place in the vicinity of airport and all, that is their job to check. So sometimes it happens, some kind of illegal construction takes place in the area of airports. Now, it is their job to check Nobody's checking. So this is where the problem lies. This is where they are talking about the entire aviation sector. They are not talking about just one incident. They are looking at entire aviation sector and what kind of problems it might face or it is facing right now. This is what the article is trying to talk about. Okay. Then there is one Swiss cheese model which you should know. This model says whenever you see any kind of incident, such plane crash incident, that doesn't only happen because of one person's mistake or the pilot's mistake only. Such incidents take place because of multiple failures. Let's say there is one problem with the design of the aircraft, then some kind of mistake the pilot has also done, some kind of mistake the other staff members or the management has done. When all these things coincide, when all these things are happening parallelly, at that time you see such an incident taking place, because there are so many safety norms. So this is something they want to focus on. So you have to check each and every aspect and not just blame. And mostly this happens when there is regulatory authority. Let's say this is the regulatory body. What they will try to do? Just blame it on the pilot. Sorted. Right? So they're just asking that self-introspect and learn from the mistakes. This Ahmedabad plane crash, that is one incident. Before that also we saw in Kozhikode, in Mangalore, earlier incidents. And it seems, means the writer is directly saying that you people are not learning from your mistakes. Simply. Okay? So just a brief idea you should have about this aviation safety part. Now, next one. Long list. This article is about TRF. Any idea what is TRF? Yes? Resistance front. What is resistance front? Terrorist organization in Pakistan or India? Pakistan. Okay. Now see, we know India-Pakistan relations, basically how we operate, and one thing is for sure with respect to Pakistan, this is what the government and the agencies have understood with time, that Pakistan might not anyway go for a direct traditional war with India, fighting a direct traditional war. Earlier we had seen those wars, right? With Pakistan we had 2-3 wars, right? But now Pakistan will not go for any such war, especially after this Bangladesh liberation, which had taken place in the last war which we had, traditionally, which both sides accept that it was war. Otherwise Kargil also was an incident, but that we don't call it as a war as such, or at least people will not accept it. The point is, Pakistan knows that if they go for direct confrontation or a traditional war with India, they know they are going to lose. So their strategy is to go for 1,000 cuts, 1,000 different cuts and bleed India. Instead of directly attacking state versus state, let's send some non-state actors. Non-state actors here comes with this terrorist organizations. Okay, a terrorist attacks any place of India, Pakistan government will say, we didn't do this, terrorists did this, right? We are not part of it. That's how they say it, and that's how many terrorist incidents take place. But India is trying to build one narrative and show it to the world, and even that's our understanding also, that Pakistan goes for something called as state-sponsored terrorism. In Pakistan, there is no difference between state and non-state actor. Okay, have you heard these terms, or these are very new terms for you? State and non-state. State means just look at the government machinery, the military, the RAW, all those agencies, just look at that dimension. Normally when you go for war, state goes for war with other state, right? But when you talk about non-state actors, it might include NGOs, it might include your companies, some MNCs and all, they are also non-state actors. Or you can talk about terrorists also, they are also non-state actors. If they take some action, will the government of that country take the responsibility for that action? No, government will say they have done it in their personal capacity. If you want, we will arrest them. Simple. Right? Now, with respect to Pakistan, this state and non-state are very much connected. Rather, it is said that those who are part of terrorist organizations or those members, they are nothing but part of Pakistani military, or they are just proxy of Pakistani military. Okay, they are just like, instead of me, you go and attack. Fine, that's what we call a state-sponsored terrorism from Pakistan side, and that's what India is trying to showcase to the world also. At the UN forum, many a times India talks about this state sponsoring of terrorism. Fine. Now, as far as terrorism is concerned, India is taking a stand that world should do something. World should take some strong actions, and there are some actions taken also at United Nations also, and sometimes like here, USA is in news. USA designates some organization as terrorist organization. When they designate it, or United Nations, let's say the Security Council, they designate it, in that case what will happen? If that organization is trying to get some kind of funding from someone, that cannot be done. If some international transfer of money or weapon or something is happening, that cannot happen. Their properties might be seized when they are designated as terrorist organization by the world or such strong countries like United States. Okay? So what India tries to do, whichever such organization is there, India tries to go to United Nations platform, tries to reach out to other countries also and tell them, please designate them as terrorist organizations. Okay? At least some kind of action can be taken at the world level. So other agencies will also be involved, like there is Interpol that will get involved. They will also take some action against the people involved in those organizations. Now, there is this organization called as Lashkar-e-Toiba, which you must have heard, right? This was founded in 1987 by this Hafiz Saeed, quite famous, or rather infamous, for carrying out multiple attacks on India. Specifically, this parliament attack of 2001, although somehow, luck by chance, that attack was not big for us because nothing happened on a large scale. But in 2008, this Mumbai attack which was carried out, that was the most horrible attack India could ever see. Okay? Now, after this, India reached out to these organizations, US and all those countries, and somehow we managed to ban this organization or call it designated as terrorist organization. Okay? Now, what Pakistan does? When this organization is banned by the world, they're not getting any funding, nothing as such, they'll create another organization. And that becomes the same. Same people from here will go to this organization and now this will start working. That's how this resistance front seems to have got created. Now, the people who are part of this resistance front or people in Pakistan, they claim that it is not Pakistani militant organization, it is Indian militant organization. Rather, people living in Kashmir region. In the year 2019, Indian government, what they did?
370 article.
Yes, Article 370 was abrogated. Yes, abrogated or nullified or whatever you call it. After that, this organization was created. They want change in the order, or they want this 370 back. That's what they claim. Indian agencies say this is just a bluff. Reality is, it is the same Lashkar-e-Taiba with a new name called as Resistance Front. Okay, it's the proxy of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Now, what has happened recently? United States of America has designated this TRF, Resistance Front, as foreign terrorist organization. That's the news. Is it a good news? Yes, it's a good news. Certainly, it is going to help us in whatever we are doing in terms of terrorism and in terms of our action against Pakistan. First of all, US recognition. US recognition for the attacks that are being carried out in India. So, it's like you have to build a narrative in the world. Even if India wants to attack Pakistan someday, or in this event like this Pahalgam incident, we have gone directly and attacked to some extent. Last time also some actions were taken. You can't go for such actions if you do not have the support of the world. If the world is against you, you cannot carry out such actions. because there is rules-based order. You can't attack other country without reason. You should have a specific reason. Okay, so this shows somewhere support from the country. Then as far as global frameworks are concerned, like United Nations Security Council, they have this committee which talks about terrorism. There we are putting India's stand against Pakistan's state sponsoring of terrorism. So there we will get some help. There will be some pressure on Pakistan, and we will get some additional diplomatic support. When we are building this narrative, what India is trying to do, India is trying to isolate Pakistan from the entire world. That's the narrative they are trying to build, that this is a rogue country. This is a very dangerous country. That's what we are trying to build as a narrative. Okay? Good. Next one. Next editorial, India can reframe the artificial intelligence debate. I suggest you people must read this article on your own. Nothing concrete as such for the exam directly, but you will understand the debate that is going on around artificial intelligence. Basic part that you need to know, artificial intelligence is going to be that ever changing, or what we call as something that is going to change everything. The way you're living your life, the way industry operates, everything. Major problem with artificial intelligence right now is, or many scholars, like there's this scholar called Yuval Noah Harari, he keeps on talking about AI. He says that for the first time, humans have built something which can overpower humans. That means, till now, see, we have human civilization since years, and we are developing our technology with time. The point is, whenever we develop any technology, we control that technology. We decide what this technology will do to us. Right? But for the first time, we have developed a technology which will have more power than human beings. That's what artificial intelligence is all about. It's an artificial intelligence. You are trying to develop a brain which is better than human brain. And this scholar is very clear that this is going to be very dangerous for human life altogether. Now, the best way to ensure that this artificial intelligence doesn't lead to any disaster or any problem, one way would be to regulate this technology before we reach to that stage where it becomes dangerous for us. But how are you going to regulate it? You need global cooperation. All the countries around the world, they have to come together and they have to decide what to do with this technology, how to regulate, what action to be taken at the national level. So for that, at least all the countries have to come together, sit together and talk about it at least. Right? For that, many summits are taking place, some AI summits, if you have heard about that. So many such summits in Paris and some other places, these are taking place. The problem is, whenever such summits take place, countries start fighting. So let's say USA, UK on one side, China on the other side, there will be fights. There is competition for the control over artificial intelligence. Now it is being said that earlier there was a time when it was being said about the geopolitics that any country who controls oil, any country who has control over oil, that country rules over entire world, because oil was so important. Now we are in this stage wherein any country which can control artificial intelligence, any country or any company or any person who can control artificial intelligence, they can control entire world. That's the strength of AI, right? That's why there is competition between America, China or other countries. Yes, basically we can understand what is happening. So whenever such summits are there, nothing concrete is coming out. No regulation at the global scale is actually happening. So the writer Syed Akbaruddin, he was in the United Nations as our permanent representative. So he is saying what India can do is India can play an important role as a leader. Because India comes from global south, India can ensure that the perspectives of both sides can be matched. Somehow nowadays India tilts towards the Western countries, but anyway we are part of this global south, the developing countries. So India can act as a bridge and ensure that such summits take place, and somehow we can come up with some governance mechanism. So they're just asking India to lead as far as AI is concerned. Okay. Next, temples of social justice. Now, this article can be rather related with your modern history part, wherein you will read about Tamil Nadu, Madras Presidency, or the social movements that took place in that southern part of India. Okay, when you read that part, you will better understand what's the history, how social reforms have a major role to play, especially when it comes to Tamil Nadu and Tamil Nadu politics. Okay, now right now there is a debate about the control of state when it comes to temples or the administration of temples. Let's say there is a temple. In that temple, devotees come, they put some money in that, whatever it is, dan peti, what do you call it? Mundi. Sorry, I don't know. So whatever it is, you put that money, and the temple trust authorities, they collect that cash. Now what to do with that cash?
To develop the temple.
To develop the temple. What to develop the temple? Temple is already so big, so expansive. Huh?
They can
Give salaries to the priests. Huh? But they have so much money.
Then we to get trust, we have to develop. Like
Yes, now comes the problem. They have got a lot of money. What they will do with this money, that's their concern. But state is also very much interested in that. Okay, now not just the state at the present time, rather this is happening since the British time period. Okay, so since the British time period, they tried to control the land of the temples, they tried to control what happens over here, and this is happening at the world level also. This has actually the relation with the way things operate. So in the medieval times, you see, the church had power in the politics. They had the say. They used to interfere in the area where the state has the core role to play. State will decide what will happen. Right now, state is deciding everything in India. Yes, but there was a time in the medieval times, this religious institutions used to interfere. Then came the modern phase of capitalism, wherein we see that the state had got more power, and the power of religious institutions was restricted only to their religious institution. That means whatever you want to do it in your area. That means just stay in your temple, do whatever with your temple. Don't meddle into the politics. What state is doing, don't tell us anything. State will be more powerful. That's the idea of nation state, which you will understand with time. Now, this is where we see problematic thing, wherein when state tries to interfere to some extent. Now the question or the controversy remains is whether state should interfere in the affairs of the temple administration or not. One dimension we can think of is, let's say state doesn't interfere. Let's have this scenario wherein temple and the authorities in the temple, so the priest or the people involved in the temple, they will decide what to do. Most probably what they will do, they'll go for corruption. Whatever money is there, they'll use it for themselves. No construction, nothing will happen. That money will go into the pockets of people, right? So for that, we build those trusts. We go for some transparent mechanisms, or somewhere we bring the role of state. Okay. Now, right now there's a controversy in Tamil Nadu about these temple funds being used for colleges or universities. Now, is it a legal thing or illegal thing? This is somewhere this article is putting light on. So the writer says this is nothing new. In Tamil Nadu, this has been happening since last 200 years. So they've talked about the timeline. So there was this religious endowment and its regulations in 1817. In the British time period, that was brought in. Later on, this Queen Victoria. See, earlier British policy was to control even the religious affairs of people. But then, because of this 1857 revolt, they got to know that it's better not to interfere in the religion because these people are very sensitive, right? But that doesn't mean they didn't interfere at all. They still maintained their role in the lands and endowments, or simply say some properties or the land of these temples on religious organizations. Okay. In 1920, in Madras, they had this Justice Party which talked about some reforms with respect to these temples. They said very clearly that these temple organizations or this temple administration, they are not working properly. We need some reforms in that. Okay, and this Justice Party or these social reform movements, they have an important role in the politics of Tamil Nadu. The same social movements led to the political parties. So those people who were leading movements, they became part of politics. And even the present day politics of Tamil Nadu runs through the same. So after independence, they brought this law, Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious Charitable Endowments Act 1959. This act says that if there is any surplus amount of money with temple, that surplus amount of money can be used for other things, like for education, for universities, colleges, etc. To build such institutions, all that can be done. And the surplus here simply means that whatever was the need of the temple, that need has already taken care of. After that, whatever amount of money is remaining, that is surplus. Okay? So this is mentioned in this particular act, this section 36 and all. You don't need to know all these sections. Just a brief idea of the relation between state and the relation between religious organizations. Just have a brief idea about it. That's it. Okay, and this is something even Supreme Court has supported, that this is a good thing. This is a good thing if you're utilizing this money for some charitable work or for education, health, etc., etc. Okay, so that's it. Any doubt? No? Okay then.